In one of our recent videos, we looked at the 5 things that rich people understand that black people don't. Staying on that topic, today we'll look at 10 cities where black people don't get the financial game at all, because these are the cities where black people are doing the worst financially. So if you live in one of these cities, I know that you're probably broke. Of course, I'm just kidding, or am I? LendingTree published some interesting findings about where black people in America are doing the best and worst financially. They use 5 financial metrics across the 100 largest US metros to find the best and worst cities. As always, I'm gonna go from the number 10 metro area down to the number 1 worst place for black people financially. At number 10, we have Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh has the highest percentage of black residents with bachelor's degrees at 22%, but the unemployment rate is just as bad as everywhere else on this list at almost 11%. And the median household income for black people is an abysmal $35,496. The general population here, though, has a median household income of $72,532. Black people make up around 8% of the Pittsburgh metro area. At number 9, we have Wichita, Kansas. Wichita has one of the highest home ownership rates on this list at 37%. Home ownership is obviously a problem in our community because even in the number 1 city financially for black people, surprise, surprise, the DC Metro, the rate is at 51%. I've seen higher rates towards the 60s on this list for a couple of areas, but most are at or below 50%. Wichita's black residents have only a median income of $36,032 and an unemployment rate of around 11%. At number 8, we have the home of LeBron James, Akron, Ohio. Hopefully with all the billions he's making, he'll finally get them off this list. Akron has the same home ownership rates as Wichita at 37%, but a slightly lower median income of $35,407. Unemployment sits high at 11.3%, with 17% of black residents holding a bachelor's degree or higher. Black people make up 14% of the city of Akron, but the percentage drops once we get into the greater metro area, which is a common trend as black people are concentrated in the cities across the US. If you want to know why that's the trend, watch a video we did on why black people live in cities. You know where to look up there, or the link is in the description box below. Next up, of course, we have the city that's known for the TV series Cops, Spokane, Washington. What stands out to me about Spokane immediately is that it's the only area on this list that even cracks $40K for the median income. Black residents here have a median income of $44,152, which is the highest median income on the list. But the other rankings are similar to everywhere else, with 16% of black residents with bachelor's degrees and a 12% unemployment rate. At number 6, we have Rochester, New York. Black residents make up about 16% of the city of Rochester and 10% of the greater Rochester metro area. The median income for black residents is $36,550 compared to $73,294 for the general population of the Rochester metro area. Only about 16% of black people here have a bachelor's degree or higher, and the home ownership rate is just at 33.5%. And then there is that one name that keeps showing up on almost all the worst lists for black people to live in, and that is Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Black people in Milwaukee, just get out. I wouldn't move here if you paid me $1 million. Well, maybe $1 million, and add on that land that we were promised. Milwaukee actually has not the worst unemployment rate for black people at 8.5%, but the median income is still low at $33,720. 15% of black residents have a bachelor's degree, and 27% of them are homeowners. If you live in Milwaukee, or better yet, if you've moved to Milwaukee recently, please let me know in the comments why. I mean, just why. Have you not been watching any of my worst list videos? I don't know, maybe everybody's moving there and it's on the come up because it's so cheap. I have no idea. Somebody please let me know in the comments. At number 4, we have Cleveland, Ohio. Black people make up almost half of the city of Cleveland's population, but only 20% of the Cleveland metro area, which shows how highly concentrated the black population is in the city of Cleveland. The median income here for black residents is $34,238, with 36% of them owning their own homes. The unemployment rate is high at 13%, and the percentage of black residents with bachelor's degrees is low at 17%. And number 3, who doesn't love this place? And it took me a long time to to get onto this show, but once I did, it is one of the best shows of all time. The Office, Scranton, Pennsylvania. Hey, and I have a spin-off for you guys. I'm sure the people of The Office will watch this video. A Black Office spin-off. Like a completely black office. Tell me that wouldn't be freaking hilarious. Gosh, can you imagine like Dave Chappelle? Anyway, Scranton comes in last place on the education metrics with only 10% of black residents holding a bachelor's degree or higher. It also comes in second place for worst median income at $33,342, and only 18% of black residents own their own homes. The general population in Scranton has a median income of $61,174. One good thing, maybe one of the only good things, is that the black population in the Scranton metro area isn't that big, ranging between 1.2% and 8% depending on the county. Well, at least now we can see why Stanley was so pissed off coming to work every day.
I wake up every morning in a bed that's too small, drive my daughter to a school that's too expensive, and then I go to work to a job for which I get paid too little. But on pretzel day, well, I like pretzel day.
And number 2, we have Syracuse, New York. The poverty rate in Syracuse is at an astonishing 30%. Nobody in Syracuse is working, apparently. This metro area ranks near the bottom in all 5 financial metrics, but the biggest standout is the education metric. Syracuse was ranked the second lowest in education, with only 14% of the black residents holding a bachelor's degree or higher. The median income here for black households is $34,120 compared to the $40,490 for all residents. That is 41.3% below the national median income. And at number 1, drum roll please, we have Toledo, Ohio. If you live in Toledo, I'm pretty sure you're struggling. Black households in Toledo earn a median income of $31,106. Maybe that's because the unemployment rate for black residents is almost at 14%. This is a reflection of the general economic state of the metro area, which has a 25% poverty rate. Toledo is the 3rd city in Ohio that made it on the top 10 worst places financially for black residents. Ohio is just not a place for us to thrive, I guess. Toledo also ranks at the bottom or near the bottom in 4 out of 5 financial metrics used for this survey. So that concludes the list. If you live in any of these cities, let me know how you're faring financially and if this survey is accurate. Not just for you, but for the general population. Please don't be that person in the comments, oh, I live in Toledo, I make millions, I live in a mansion, so this survey is completely wrong. One person obviously doesn't make up a statistic. Make sure you follow me at Directed by Jared on Instagram, and that's about it. Get out of these cities.